Alright, so I was over here last night at the corners, and that was the N.Y.P.D camera, department camera that I was mentioning. It says it on the side. Anyway, so that was the one where I pulled over to the corner with my Mini Cooper, and I said, like, this is live, right? Yeah. About Christmas. So now I'm doing it so this way they have on live camera while I'm doing it here the whole bit about, like, so now I don't know, like, do you do Skylab? Like, I don't, what words? I mean, I have the whole vocabulary list. Like, we tried to make it as simple as possible so this way we didn't have any problems, and like getting me and he together was not going to be an issue. But yeah, here we are at age 42 and you got nothing right. So now I'm just, and we went over this and it was like, okay, no, this is like really simple. Strategy. There's one commander, Mr. Thank You, I think we call him Hank, and like he just is trying to get to like, Miss, I'm in trouble, and it pops out where she is and the uplink that we're trying to protect in special quiet operations. So this way we don't have to tell a whole lot of people. We settled all our lawsuits before it even began, and so this way we can move quickly and without worry. So now, why am I here, and why did I have so many problems if you settled all those lawsuits? I'm just curious. So I have a problem with Jason ROEMER still. On the year that he stole Christmas, he was given a tag HAUER, TAGHAUER, which I guess you could call like a timing mechanism, perhaps. And so that was what he wore, and he asked for specifically. I think he gave me some kind of tennis bracelet. Peter helped him purchase it, and nobody gives a shit land. And what happened also, let's think about this, because he was, at that time, he was failed out of Berkeley for music, and I think my dad, no, he wasn't with my dad yet. I don't know. It gets confusing, because then he went to DeVry after, but I think he did the music thing first. So, timing gets really confusing, but I know that that watch, the year that he stole Christmas, for sure, is uber important. UBER. He has, think about this. Peter would be the Grinch, GRINCH on that one, and then they mimicked him as to the tiny little dog that was pulling the gigantic Christmas sleigh, being Jason, because he couldn't handle what was in St. Nick's sleigh, in the fact that, like, who hitched that little annoying thing to, and his father in the Christmas story that they weren't supposed to be in? I'm just curious. That stole everybody's happiness. Right, yeah, okay. So that's that. Oh, right. And then I had a thing this morning. Apparently, Peter and Sarah had something to do with an IBM. Like, he hired me to do, like, a tower. He had, like, a, I don't know, one of those stupid fucking computers my father had. The monitor with a keyboard and a mouse and a tower. And he hired me to do the ACT database, which was putting client names and phone numbers and addresses in for mailings. Then one day, he comes in and he said he brought his laptop in. Okay. Laptop turned out being an IBM. I'm like, is that him? And then he's like, does that look familiar? And I'm like, look familiar? I was like, no, why? Is it supposed to? He's like, well, it's an IBM. I'm like, right, IBM. I was like, what does that mean? I mean, I'm not good with computers. I kind of am against them, but from the beginning, I really don't see the point. Like, I mean, I'm glad you're paying me like $8 an hour, but like, really, I mean, this is not life altering, and this is not like a real career move that I really want to be making, but I need to pay my bills. So, and he was just like, right. He's like, so you don't know anything about the stock market? Like, I mean, I'm like, well, I mean, my dad had a brokerage, but I mean, it wasn't on computers back then. It was a Quotron, and everybody shared one, I think, and that wasn't even in the beginning. It was all paper. That was like in the 1980s, before they went to Quotron. He's like, right, so you don't know anything about, like, who makes IBM? I was like, is that like a trick question? Like, I mean, I know that you went to college and you work at Merrill. My mom said, like, the people at Merrill are, like, really important and smart and stuff. And so, like, you're her idols in small brokerages. I was like, and you're the true professionals. But is that a trick question? Like, doesn't IBM make IBM? I mean, and he's like, well, you know what IBM stands for? I'm like, not even slightly. And he's just like, oh, right. So, yeah, that is like how Merrill Lynch went when I went over there. Think about this. And then it turns out that it was like a black thing with like a little red dot mouse in the center of the keyboard. It was really strange. And then he's like, can you get onto it? I was like, how do I get onto this? What is this? Like, why doesn't it look like the one that you have me working on normally? And so he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, you call tech support? I was like, do you have a number? Like, I mean, I'm your intern, and I don't understand what the hell you want me to, like, your instructions are not clear, Peter. Like, you want to, am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. In that office, by the way, there was a girl that came to work there. There was one named Nancy, and then there was a girl by the name of Maria. She said it's like a credenza, and I said it sounds like crescendo to me personally. And she had a husband who did iron work, and she spoke Italian. And we were, they called it like desk, whatever. Our desks were next to one another, and she answered phones, I think for John Adamo, and I was answering phones for Peter at the time. Let's think about this. I don't know why she's important, but I just had a feeling today on my whatever that she is. One of those fly-by-night angel kind of a things. 'Cause she used to argue she had like a habanero, but not really like, I don't know, like not really like sharp. I mean, she was more of like, I guess, I don't know, whatever. Like, she'd argue and then she'd be over it. Like, I get it. I mean, that's how I am, but whatever. I mean, it's not really purposeful to carry anger forward. It doesn't really do anything, especially at Skylab's standpoint. That's why this is an individual thing. Whatever your father did, if you carry in your father's footsteps and you are a hero, then great. But if you are part of the problem coming in, then you'll still be a problem going out, right? And those are on the list because there's one objective and there's one piece that interacts with the main Skylab. I kind of have to get to that piece since I read and decipher and am the thing that everything kind of calculates off of. I thought, again, that was like really, really simple. I don't know why we had to like give up ants' ovulation calendars just on the off chance, just so I could have a kid. I'm like, wait, is that normal? Is that Skylab normal? Like my Skylab normal? Is that like your street stuff in like one of the countrymen? Yeah, it got really confusing with you all. Like what was normal for you and what was supposed to be normal for me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I don't have to give up calendars. I'm pretty sure that was a mainstay requirement. My mother already gave up her ovulation schedule to have me, and my grandmother, right? So, oh, and Judy said she's not having any girls. So she was gifting me hers for a second point of view for someone who only had one son. Let me think about this. And that was the pink, P-I-N-K, and the G-R-E-A, G-R-A-Y. For the G-R-A-E on elephant. Elefante ese grise grandes, G-R-I-S, and then G-R-A-N-D-E.